Hello and welcome back to SiGMA TV. Now we'll be taking a look at discussing Synergy Blue's HAWG platform, how it is a game changer for casino operators and players. And joining me here today to discuss this is none other than the CEO of Synergy Blue himself, Georg Washington. So George, it's great to talk to you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here, Yanni. It's a great pleasure.
You're very welcome. Now I wanted to jump in ahead and get to know you a little bit more. Tell us your background in the gaming space, how you got into the industry, and also if you could tell our audience the origin of Synergy Blue.
Sure, that's great. So I started in the industry about 20-odd years ago, in the gaming industry, that is. And I got my first break in the tribal casino market. And from there, I had a couple of different roles, and I branched out into my own companies and formed Synergy Blue. And Synergy Blue actually started out in the marketing and player loyalty arena, building interactive player loyalty games for a couple of the major manufacturers out there. And those were sort of like precursors to what we do today. And from there, from 2017, we began really focusing on the skill or like what we like to call it, interactive games. And from there, we sort of were looking at ways to sort of build fun games and so forth. But a lot of our team members coming from the video game world, we just said, hey, this seems to be the next evolution for us. And then we started to sort of evolve those types of ideas and really come to a place what we like to call fun you can bet on.
That's fantastic. Well, moving on to your HAWG platform, in which you currently offer, and in which this is the highlight of the topic. And also earlier this month, you just released a new platform in which you called the 2600 Cabinet series. Could you expound on this a little bit more and tell us why are these a game changer for casino operators and players?
The HAWG platform is really hybrid arcade wager-based gaming, and as the name suggests, it's a hybrid arcade system that is flexible, that provides different mechanics for different regulations, as well as providing flexibility for the casino operators. So whether it's pure chance, it's skill influence, it's bingo math, the platform can do it all. And that's sort of where we came from. And that product line, or that platform, I should say, is evolving into new things such as progressives and so forth. But it's a very flexible platform, and we're really excited about it, and it's part of who we are. And then part of your second part of the question was, tell us a little bit about the new 2600 cabinet series, and we're really excited about that. That's something that we designed in conjunction with Nolan Bushnell, who is also known as the founder of Atari, apart from many other things. And we wanted to bring in some of that original Atari gaming console nostalgia back into the games. And, you know, the time when we were young and we're playing these games at home and bringing that interactive experience onto the casino floor. And part of that model line, we have a slant top, a large format, which is for our driving games like Need for Speed and so forth. And then we also have a shooting game or shooting games that you use a light gun for. So very much like a traditional arcade game. So some of the other things that we also have, part of that cabinet, and it just comes naturally with the cabinet. During the time when COVID started to come into the picture, we were looking at different ways of coming up with the new product line that would be safe and provide some extra layer of health and safety. And so we came up with Blue Safe Touch, and part of all the cabinets is antimicrobial and germ inhibiting products that are not only in the plastic but the powder coating, etc., to help sanitize the cabinet when people come and sit and play. We also have air filtration through the system using UVC that also helps any airborne germs and nasties that are out there.
I love it. I love it. Both of your new products are breaking new ground in the industry. And are there any emerging tech that you're looking into integrating to your product?
So from an emerging technology, one of the things that we're just coming out with is our new driving game called Jackpot Joyride. It's a traditional arcade style game that has a steering wheel, I should say, pedals, and you can compete against your friends in a multiplayer environment. It has leaderboards, nitro boost, and all that sort of fun stuff. And we wanted to really bring that arcade experience back into, or bring it into the casino to provide that really unique experience. We also have, with that, we also have our game library, of course, which, we have, I think, 20 odd plus, I should say 20 plus games, from match 3 style games, traditional slot games, light gun games, etc., which is quite unique. And we also provide that in a multi-game environment as well.
And George, you have presence in 6 different countries. And earlier this year, you had your inaugural expansion in Nevada. Now, which geos are you looking into expanding next?
Great question. So as we're moving forward, and we're still a new player in the industry, but we do have a pretty significant global distribution reach. We have not only ourselves, but we do have distribution partners out there. And, whether it's, the Caribbean to Southeast Asia to Europe, Canada, etc. And we're looking at expanding, but we're going to be doing that cautiously, because we do want to provide good customer service and sales and support as we move into these new areas.
And George, recently in April, you conducted a research about consumer perspectives on the reopening of the brick and mortar casinos in Nevada, as well as the trends that you've seen happen in the space during the pandemic. Could you expand on this a little bit more and share to our audience what you've seen or found?
Sure, not a problem. So back in April we conducted the survey, and that was we surveyed around 1,000 gamblers. It was anonymous, but we did clarify that they were gamblers and they were active gamblers. And so some of the things that we found out is that when we were doing it, we wanted to find out when people would come back and what their concerns were, and sort of find out the demographics to that and which people were going to come back first. And so what we found out is that roughly 62% of the gamblers aged 29 and younger were planning to come back to the casinos as soon as the stay-at-home order was lifted. And so we found that, as that demographic got older and older, the likelihood of the older gamblers coming back straight away was reducing. And so we looked at some of these things and we published it out. And, of course, we didn't charge anybody for any of this information. We thought it was very interesting. And we found also that, one of the other items that was interesting was that the local players were also more likely to come back first as well. So, the people were less likely to travel, more likely to go to the local casinos, and then the younger demographics. And so far, that has stayed true to what we had surveyed.
Up to present, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. Well, lastly, George, you probably didn't see this question coming, but which among the games that you produce is your favorite?
Well, right now I love the driving game. In the office we have it there, and everybody's competing for the fastest times and trying to find out how to cheat at it. Of course you can't, but there is better driving techniques than others, and so that game I'm really very excited about.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, George, for talking to me today and for sharing your insights with us. I really enjoyed our discussion, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Yanni. It was my pleasure, and have a great day.
And that is all for myself and George. We'd love to hear how you found this interview, so share your thoughts in the comments below.